Peace and love, peace and love. Welcome to another Truth to Power Talk with your sister, Dr. Maat. Before we get tonight's show started, I want to make two announcements. My first announcement, two announcements. My first announcement is the Read Book Club. So next Sunday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we will be reading Birth of a White Nation by Dr. Jacqueline Badalora. I had the pleasure of interviewing Dr. Jacqueline Badalora last summer, I think around like June or July-ish, when Brother Taki out of New York, when we were promoting the Hoppy film. All right. And so if you did miss that interview, just go to YouTube, type in Dr. Maat and Jacqueline Badalora, and you will see the interview that we had entitled Birth of a Nation. But my book club, the Read Book Club, all right, will be reading her book, Birth of a White Nation. Okay, we're going to start reading this book on April the 11th at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Okay, so that's next Sunday. And so order the book. I would prefer that you get the book instead of running to Amazon. Get it from your local Black bookstore. We have to support our local Black bookstores. So if you have a local Black bookstore, okay, near you, order this book, and hopefully they have it. If they don't have it, then you have to do what you have to do, right? But if they do have it, please get the book from your local Black bookstore, Birth of a White Nation. The Read Book Club, READ, the Read Book Club will be reading this book next week. Also, tomorrow, I will be going live with Brother Geechee Yai to talk about Tamika Mallory. This sister has been all over the news and the internet, and people are calling her a sellout. And so we're going to have that discussion tomorrow. Is Tamika Mallory a sellout? And you know, can you be a Black activist and in bed with capitalists? But if you're connected with Dr. Maat, then you already know what Dr. Maat is going to say. All right, family. So let's get tonight's show started. We have Brother Rizza Islam in the building to talk about the state of Black America in solutions, the state of Black America in solutions. Okay, so we will be talking about that tonight. So family, share this video. If you watch it on Facebook, head on over to, and matter of fact, where's my cell phone? I thought I had my cell phone near me. I usually have my cell phone and I share it all over the place, but I don't have my cell phone with me. All right, family. So look, share it for your girl. Share it for Dr. Maat. Let people know we're live. Let's get the views up. Tonight, I have Brother Rizza Islam in the building. Let's get started. Peace and Black power.
Let's combat and fight back with maltracks. The war of the minds, they want control of the masses. And Common Core, they dumb us down in the classes. Without knowledge, we can't gain access. Build with the elders, take notes and write classes. We keep whining on the block, how it's gonna stop? Let's start supporting our own, make their supply drop. We buy stocks and we buy blocks, cause we know the truth and we tuned in to Dr. Maya.
Peace and love, family. Welcome to another Truth to Power Talk with your sister, Dr. Maat. Thank you for joining another powerful discussion. And tonight, I have with me another powerful guest, but he is no stranger to the community. Brother Rizza Islam, how are you doing tonight, brother?
Peace, dear sister. I'm doing well. And how are you doing?
I'm doing all right, brother. I'm doing all right. It's a pleasure to have you in the building. I've been watching you for a long time on social media. And also, I had the pleasure of meeting you. I don't know if you remember, but the Honorable Minister Farrakhan, he came to D.C. at Dr. Willie Wilson's church. Mm-hmm. And this was around the time that Aretha Franklin had transitioned. And I remember being there with my two sons. And you were right behind us on the next row, sitting next to Brother Ben X. And I forgot the other brother's name. Oh my goodness, I forgot who he is, but he had like this like bandana on with the gold. Yes. You had you all were right there, and we met then. So I had the pleasure of meeting you in person. And so, family, right now, take a moment out to thumb up this video, thumb up the video, okay? Also, share this video tonight. Brother Islam and I will be talking about some powerful information tonight. So share this video. Let's get the word out. Also, if you're watching my program on Facebook, be sure to head on over to YouTube, type in Dr. Maat, and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Hit the notification bell so that as soon as I go live, you will be notified. Also, if you've missed any of my Truth to Power talks, I've created a playlist on my channel. You can go back, go through the playlist, and check out the discussions. I've brought on some heavy hitters, brother Rizza Islam. I brought on, Dr. Malefi Asante. I brought on, Professor James Smalls, Dr. Kaba Kamene, Dr. Wesley Muhammad. He was in the building 2 weeks ago. You're in the building today.
Legends.
Yes. So I brought on some heavy hitters. Shout out to my boy, brother Unc West. He was there. I'm trying to think the Barudis, Baba Barudi, Dr. William Sanity Darity. He came on to talk about reparations. So I've had some powerful guests, family. So make sure that you go back and check out those Truth to Power talks. So, Brother Islam, the first thing, and before we get started, tonight I know we're talking about the state of Black America and its solutions. But one thing I noticed, Brother Islam, and I got to ask the hard questions, I see that they got you off of social media. I literally looked for you a few days ago, and I was talking with Brother Ankh, and he said, oh, they got him off of all of the platforms. And I said, no. I said, no, they don't. I checked his page a few weeks ago. He's on Instagram. They took him off, but he has his page back. He said, no, sister. He is off of all social media platforms. So then I look for you, like I went to Instagram and I typed in like your handle. I think it was like _ Rizza Islam. I typed in your handle, couldn't find you. It was like user doesn't exist, And then I said, well, okay, let me go to YouTube and type in, Rizza Islam. Typed in YouTube, and all I saw was like videos you did with other people. Didn't see you at all. And so then I went to Brother Ben X's, I think it was either his YouTube page or his Instagram page. And he said, he was like, yeah, it's true. He's off of all social media. So my first question to you, Brother Islam, is why you? Why little old you? Like why you? Why did they? So why you? Why did they remove you from all of the social media platforms? And they may take down this video. Who knows? Because your name is in the title, right? So they may say, well, I don't know about this Dr. Maat. We may have to get her out of here too. But why you? Why do you think that they took you off of all social media platforms?
Well, I'll tell you, number one, well, first of all, I'm honored to be on the program. Number one, sister, I truly admire you and your work as well. And I have seen some of the interviews. So
thank you. Thank you, brother.
Mentioning that is, it's powerful, and I'm honored just to be counted among those whom you have had on this program, because I look up to all of those who you've named and many others. That's the first thing I would say. Number two, Satan is pissed right now. The system of white supremacy is at its wit's end right now. They are trying to figure out how they can get rid of specific voices, and particularly where these experimental shots are concerned. That's the primary move that they are making on the masses. And because that is an area that I have been specifically strategic and effective in on behalf of the Honorable Minister Farrakhan for a number of years, nearly 7 years, long before our community jumped on it, we exposed it, or should I say Robert F. Kennedy brought me the knowledge, and then I brought it to the Western Regional Representative, which was Minister Tony at the time. His name now is Minister Abdul Malik, and we brought it to Minister Farrakhan. Minister Farrakhan brought it to the 20th year anniversary of the Million Man March, 10/10/15 in 2015. And then that's when the melanated world became aware of what is going on when it comes to these vaccines. So they have been looking at me, trying to figure out how the hell did this young Negro figure out what it is that we're doing years ago and remain consistent. So that's specifically what has been brought to Congress as recently as last Thursday. They brought in Mark Zuckerberg, Jack Dorsey over Twitter, as well as the founder of Instagram, to pressure them to remove myself and 11 other individuals from all of these mainstream social media platforms.
So you were removed because of your stance against vaccinations.
The accurate information that is being exposed about it.
Okay, and so, but prior to that, they didn't fool with you, right? So prior to that, you were free to say whatever you wanted to say. But when it came down to, your stance and your position against vaccinations, that's when they decided to remove you from all social media platforms.
For the most part, I'll say, just briefly, they came after me on a number of other topics. but none like the topic of vaccinations. That in particularly is something that is too heavily invested in by pharmaceuticals, by specific government entities, special interest groups, etc. So a lot of topics, they cut down videos, they stop me from speaking for a week or two or even a month on certain platforms. But the topic of vaccinations in particularly is something that they said, okay, you know what, we have to shut him down completely. And that's really what they are being told right now. As I read, they have put me in a group called the Disinformation Dozen. So I'm the youngest one, a part of this group. I have no medical degrees, no degrees whatsoever. All 11 other individuals have degrees. They're older individuals. They're doctors, lawyers, scientists. And then they have me there, and they said, nah, get this little Negro off of, social media as well.
So let me ask you a question. I know that the Nation of Islam has taken a position. I mean, they're in Baltimore, and shout out to Captain Andrew and those brothers at Muhammad Mosque Temple number 6.
Right.
But they're going hard. The Nation of Islam is going hard in their position against vaccinations, and they're in Baltimore. And it was brought to my attention by Brother Ark West that they were handing out pamphlets. I was all the way in Cameroon. I didn't know what was going on. I get a call from Brother Ark West. He's like, Doc, they're around the hood, handing out pamphlets saying, don't take the vaccine. And so my question to you, Brother Islam, is this. If not vaccines, then what? So you say, don't take the vaccine, right? And there are people who are dying from the coronavirus or whatever is, regardless of whether people say it's a hoax, it's not a hoax, it's natural, it's unnatural. There are people dying from something, right? And so if the Nation of Islam is saying, hey, look, we don't want you to take the vaccine. So then what would you say that we would need to take in place of the vaccine? So if the Black community says, you know what, we're not going to take the vaccine. I'm looking at your shirt. It says not another Tuskegee experiment. And so if we don't take the vaccine, then what should we take in place of the vaccine? So if not vaccination, then what?
Beautiful question. The first thing is the reason why we're going so hard is because these are not even vaccines. According to the United States government's own definition, according to the FDA, according to the CDC, according to HHS, in order for it to be classified as a vaccine, it must be approved by the FDA. When we're dealing with AstraZeneca's new corona shot, when we're dealing with Pfizer's new corona shot, when we're dealing with Moderna's new corona shot, all three of these are not approved by the FDA. They're approved by an emergency use authorization. Therefore, they are still under the list as experimental. That's point number one. So they're trying to push people to take this when it's not even a vaccine. So you can't force people to take something that's experimental. Number one, that's the legal definition. Number two, because it's experimental, it is worse than the Tuskegee experiment because the concoction, the chemicals, and the technology that is being used is something that has never been used in this manner before on human beings. So it is completely and totally beyond ridiculous to try to tell anybody to take it, especially our people. So the solution to taking it would be the Honorable Mrs. Farrakhan has listed over 14 therapies. Many of these things is what we have been taking for years. Yourself, myself, our people, our ancestors is what we've been doing for thousands and thousands, if not hundreds of thousands, if not millions of years. Everything from vitamin C, everything from, of course, vitamin D, which now they have come out and had scientists to verify, well, yes, vitamin D actually stops the spread of corona or whatever it is that they have been saying is affecting the people. Vitamin D, zinc, minerals, all these different things, sweating, fasting even, all of these different things is what helps to prevent the spread of this circumstance. So all the natural remedies that we've been utilizing as a people, that's exactly what has been preventing it. The upper respiratory circumstance is the buildup of mucus. Well, if you know how to get rid of mucus, then you know how to more than likely survive this circumstance. The CDC themselves have stated that 94% of the people who died from the coronavirus along with pre-existing conditions. And only 6% of those who died from the coronavirus alone. So the vast majority of people who died from something else. Are people with diabetes, are people with hypertension, are people with heart disorders, are people with different cancers. All of those things is what they really died from, and then corona simply exacerbated it or toppled it over. But it was already a circumstance that our people were dealing with. So if we handle that circumstance, our diet, our nutrition, how we live when it comes to our eating, then we will more than likely, as they have already stated, due to their own statistics, we will come out of this thing successfully because it has an over 97% success rate. And the over 97% of people who came through it without the use of these experimental vaccines.
Okay, well, thank you so much, brother Rizlan, for answering the question. And I heard you mention, and I've actually had I had a round table with Baba Kidi Awadu. He's like a holistic health like as a specialist. And brother, and shout out to the Masi Warrior Clan, brother Sean P. It was just like a round table discussion about vaccinations, and the question was, should Black people be concerned about the COVID-19 vaccine? And so I've heard people, even Baba Kidi said zinc, and he said there are other natural remedies that can protect you from the coronavirus. But my question is this, and this is the same question Brother Sean P actually asked the Baba Kidi. He said, what natural remedies can produce or invoke an immune response? Because as you know, brother Islam, with vaccinations, they inject you, with, a snapshot, I guess, of the pathogen. Your immune system builds up antibodies and all of that. And so my question is, what natural remedy can invoke an immune response to a pathogen?
Beautiful. Well, the first thing is, the way that they operate when it comes to vaccinating is, of course, they take a weakened or dead strain of the virus, like you were saying just now, and they inject it in order so that the body can recognize the spike protein, recognize what it looks like, recognize all of those different components, so that when the body comes into contact with it later on in a wild form, through air, through something you eat, etc., it will already recognize it, build up the actual antibodies, and it will be able to fight it off. That's a beautiful type of method to a degree, but the best way to combat any type of virus or pathogen or foreign entity is by building up your immune system and having what is called an innate natural immune system. That is the only guaranteed way. And they know this. The chemists know this. The virologists know this. The epidemiologists know this. That is the only way to do that. So your body has to come into contact with it in some way. The problem is, through vaccinating, you intentionally bypass the immunity. The immune system, for the vast majority, over 75%, takes place in the gut, in the stomach, through the digestive tract. So that's you inhaling, that's you drinking, that's you eating. And it goes through a process of breaking these things down to where the body is able to recognize it, destroy it for the majority, and come up with the components to fight back. When you inject, because that's ingest, but when you inject it, you're bypassing it. It's going past that system through the bloodstream and is going potentially into the brain or past the blood-brain barrier. This is why it's very difficult when it comes to injecting children with these shots, due to their blood-brain barrier having not been developed yet at a certain point. But that's the difference. So eating certain things, taking certain nutrients or herbs, vitamins, minerals, etc., building up the immunity is the only surefire way, so that when you come into contact with any type of virus, your body will be able to fight it off 9 times out of 10. But doing it through an injection is far different.
Okay, thank you so much for that. And I haven't watched Hidden Colors part 5, but I did hear that you and Brother Polite and some of the other brothers really got into like the nitty-gritty of vaccinations, and you talked about the ingredients. And we're going to get off vaccinations, but I want to ask you one last question. Would you be willing, Brother Islam, to have a round table with myself and Brother Ankh West, because he's definitely pro-vax all the way. Okay. And I know Brother Sean P, he was pro-vax along with Baba Kidi, who's anti-vax. But would you mind having like a part 2 round table discussion with me, you, and Brother Ankh? We hear your perspective, we hear his perspective, and we have maybe 2 or 3 rounds to talk about vaccinations. Would you be up to something like that?
Sure.
Okay. Okay. So I'll get in touch with Dr. Hanan and see if she could schedule that. But I think that it would be a great a dialogue. And so we would do like a part 2, because this is like an ongoing discussion in the Black community. Should we take it? Should we not take it? And so I would like to continue to have these discussions. And I think it's going to be a discussion that's going to be had for many years to come. And so anyway, but tonight I brought you on, and we kind of talked about this backstage. And I said, well, Neely Fuller, or Dr. Neely Fuller Jr., he categorized the 9 areas of people activity. And he said that racism and white supremacy impacts 9 areas of human activity. The great late Dr. Frances Cress Welsing, she added a 10th category to that, which is health. And so he said that racism and white supremacy affects economics, education, entertainment, labor, law, politics, religion, sex, war, and health. And so you and I already kind of talked about health just now with vaccination. So I want to go to the number one. He listed as number one, which is economics. My first question to you, Brother Islam, is in the area of economics, do you feel like we are progressing or regressing? And I guess this is a twofold question. Do you feel like we're progressing or regressing? There are a lot of Black folks who are opening businesses, but I know businesses did close due to the coronavirus. But where do you think the Black community stands as it relates to economics?
Beautiful question. I'll say the first thing is we have progressed in our ability to gain access to the knowledge of how economics works and gaining the ability to access it through technological means, by which meaning we can open up businesses left and right in the digital world to where we can start making money instantly without gaining approval from anyone, without having to worry about this organizational group shutting us down right away. And it can be done quickly. It can be done with our children. They can open up these businesses. We can do this very, very, very quickly through technology. So I will say in this day and age, we have a more advanced ability to do that, to get it done quickly, and again, to start making money faster. That's the beautiful part about it. The regressing department of that is, as a people, although we have become more united when it comes to certain things, economic-wise, we still have yet to realize that the system of white supremacy still exists in full force in its offensive against us in economics. So we think that because certain individuals who become millionaires off of using Shopify or selling products or drop shipping, certain ones who are able to utilize Bitcoin, utilize other different forms of currency, certain ones who are able to utilize certain apps and have different ways of making money through technology, online, etc., that we have progressed overall as a people. When that is the problem, we have to stop with the individual mindset and continue to move forward as a collective. That's the only thing that I'm noticing that's a little different, which is, yes, we have progressed in a few ways, but we have also regressed in a few others. And the primary one when it comes to the regression is the lack of pooling our resources together and the lack of unity. That's the only one that I'm seeing that's not entirely there yet, but the ability is there. The ability to access wealth is there. The ability for us to come up out of economic deprivation in a very quick manner is there. That's the beauty of it. So we have it, the opportunities, but the lack of unity is the primary issue that we are facing.
Thank you so much for that, Brother Islam.
Yep.
So the lack of unity. So I said to the crowd last night, I said that this is also, we're going to talk about the problems, but we're also going to give solutions. And so what do you think the solution is to the lack of unity or the disunity that exists among Black people? What solutions would you say that we could do? What can we do to unify Black folks?
First thing is we have to stop utilizing these labels that we put up as separative tools. So, labels like Muslim, labels like Hebrew Israelite, labels like 5%er, labels like Moor, labels like this and that. We have to stop using those. They're not bad labels, but we have to stop using them as a tool to separate us as if we're not one people. The enemy sees us as one people. They have never not seen us as one people. So we need to see ourselves as one people. They are on code. They have always been on code. We have lacked being on code. They are united completely and totally. They have it in the North, in the South, the East, the West. They call themselves this group, this label, this religious philosophy, this type of status symbol. They have all these different descriptions. But when it comes to being in the back, they are all on the same page. They just don't show you, and they'll show us. Because they know when it comes to war, all war is based off of what? Deception. They know that. So they make you think they're not on the same page when they have always been on the same page. And as long as they want to remain in power, they will never not be on the same page. So we have to pool our resources, come together so that we can do something for ourselves. Stop using the labels to separate one another. I love all of our melanated family. Doesn't matter what group you claim. It doesn't matter what way you dress. When you say, okay, I'm gonna wear the purple with the gold fringes, and I'm gonna wear the bow tie. I'm gonna wear, my locks out. I'm gonna wear, okay, that's beautiful. I'm gonna wear my fez. I'm going, okay, wonderful. All that is beautiful. But what are we gonna do when it comes to our economics? What are we gonna do when it comes to pulling our money together? What are we gonna do when it comes to establishing businesses? We all have to eat. We all have to drink. We all need homes. We all need clothing. We all need food and shelter. We all need this. So what are we going to do? Is it more important for us to pool our resources and come together so that we can do something for ourselves? Or is it more important to stay separated based off of misunderstandings of philosophy, misunderstandings of theology, little misunderstandings of how we dress and talk? Come on, man. It's really time out for that. We are one people. Again, the enemy sees us as one people. So financially, we need to pull together as one people.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness, Brother Islam. I knew I was going to be using this sound effect all night with you.
Right.
All right. Oh my goodness. Okay, so the second category, education. Where do you see the state of Black America regarding how our children are being educated?
Whew, wow. All right. Neely Fuller did state that if you do not understand white supremacy, everything else will simply confuse you.
Ashe.
Period. So if you don't get it by now, the same enemy that tried to teach us how we are taught in the Nation of Islam, we refer to their schooling system as the killing fields, where they mentally kill them, mentally castrate them so that they will no longer be able to take over positions of power, leadership, and authority. So the educational system that we are dealing with today is still the same indoctrinating tool. It is the same implanting the system of white supremacy through an educational veil. It is the same type of making the white man superior, Black man inferior. It is the same having us look up to them in some way, shape, or form, or in all ways, shapes, and forms. So the education is crap totally for the vast majority when it comes to our children under this system, which is why we have to utilize our own schooling. We have to utilize our own education. We have to utilize our own knowledge, give the proper history, give the proper knowledge as to our culture, our religion, our religious faith systems, our understanding of God, our understanding of the 42 principles of Ma'at, or the core 7, our understanding of what Islam truly is from the Black or Afro-Asiatic perspective, our understanding of what it is to be a Hebrew Israelite, of what it is to be Moor or Moorish, or what it is to be a 5%. All of this, we have to encompass that and truly educate our own people. Because again, if I am your slave master, why in the hell would I give you the knowledge with which to prevent me from rising and to allow you to rise?
Come on.
Why hand you the keys to your own salvation? I didn't take you, steal you, and rob you and rape you so that you can now do the same to me, is what I'm thinking you're going to do if you rise, or to allow you to go free so that I can no longer have any power and control. I only live and I'm only more intelligent because of how unintelligent I allow you to be. I am more happier because I make you sad. I am healthier because I make you sick. I live off of the ability to oppress and suppress you. This is the system. So if we want to take back our mind, which we must, we have to educate our own children, and we have to stop being lazy and afraid to do it. It's really that simple, sister. I love that sound.
So, Brother Rizza Islam, I was listening to a bill with Brother Lord Jamal, and shout out to Brother Lord Jamal, and the Yanada Mean Godcast. Right. With Brother Sir Godfrey and our sister Rod Digger. But he went live maybe a few days ago, and he brought on some folks. He brought on Q Butter and another brother, young brother, King Randall. He's down in Atlanta. One thing, Brother Rizza Islam, is I agree 100% with you that we need to educate our own babies, period. I don't know if it was, I want to say it wasn't George G. James. I forgot who said it, but he was talking, I think it was in the Miseducation of the Negro, actually. In that book, he said Black people are the only people who hand over their most precious possessions, the minds of their babies, and give their minds to their oppressors, to educate them. Malcolm X said only a fool will allow his enemy to educate him. And even Dr. Amos Wilson went hard on education. And Dr. Francis Cress Wilson, they said we have to educate our babies. One thing, though, that Brother Rizza Islam that I've noticed is that there are a lot of people starting schools. I'm going to go like this: schools and programs, in the Black community, but they don't have qualified people teaching the subject matter. So you have some people saying, I'm teaching STEM. And it's like, okay, well, if you're teaching STEM, where are your scientists, right? If you're teaching language, where are your linguistics, right? And so I applaud the effort of these people saying, hey, we got to teach our babies. I applaud the effort. But one, we need qualified people in there teaching the subject matter. Two, we need to make sure that the curriculum is vetted. And three, where's your data to show that your program and that your school, your curriculum is effective? It's like, Brother Islam, so often a lot of us chase things. Oh, it's pro-Black, it's the red, black, and green. You see it, so you want to support it. But is it effective? Is the curriculum effective? Have we vetted the program? Are the people who are teaching the subject matter, are they qualified? What are their qualifications? And so that's really my issue with a lot of these people, and I'm not calling any names, but folks that I see in the community. I have this program, I'm teaching financial literacy, but then it's like, well, what is your qualifications to teach financial literacy? Have you gone to school? Have you undergone some sort of training? What does your financial background look like? And so that's really my issue. But I do agree with you that we need to educate our own children. However, we got to make sure that we have people who are qualified to teach our babies, and we need to make sure that we're vetting the curriculum that's being used. So I'm going to move on to the.
Can I touch on that really quick?
Oh, please do.
That's a beautiful point, which a lot of our people are going to have to be humble enough to understand. That's really what it is. We can't misrepresent our own people once we now have the momentum going to educate our own. We can't miseducate, misdo anything with our people. We have to take accountability. You got to vet it. You got to make sure it's quality. Why? Because one, the system is already watching. They already looking because they want to exploit that little chink in our armor. They want to exploit that one negative side and say, see, we done gave it to y'all. Now look what you did to it. See, look, and then they'll promote that to the whole world. See, look, Black people said that they want their own schools. Look what they're doing with them. They're not producing anything. But look at our statistics. Look at what we have. See, so we have to make sure, as you just said, sister, I just want to validate what you just said.
Thank you.
Quality. It has to be qualified. It has to be well vetted. And we need to produce results, effective results. I'll give a quick example. The Nation of Islam, this is why we have Muhammad University of Islam. We have our own schools all throughout this country. Our students are at the top, within the top list of students across the country, period. Because we make sure that the people are qualified who are teaching. We make sure that our students are going through rigorous training, exercises, knowing these topics from top to bottom, because we have to show the world as a people that not only have we returned, but we ain't never left. We were stomped out of existence mentally, morally, spiritually, emotionally, educationally. We have been completely destroyed, but we have to show the world that no. They had their time to rule, and that was up. That time is up. We are back now, but we have to and just say it like you just said. We can't just show up and say, "Hey, look, we got a program." No. Show me some of the results of your program, brother. Where are your students? Where are your students? Let me see the sisters. Okay, where did they go from, and where are they now? What are their grade levels when they started? What are their grade levels now? What have they demonstrated when they entered? What are they demonstrating now when they have exited? That's all, and that goes for any culture. The Chinese do the same thing. They're different. The Arabs do the same thing. Like, everybody does that because they do not want their people to misrepresent them in front of the world. We'll be damned if you step out here. We'll let you go, and then you're not showing and proving. But we can't blame you. We got to blame us.
That's right.
I just have to touch on that, sister. Because
no. Yeah, no. Thank you for the affirmation. I appreciate the affirmation, and I agree with you that we gotta. Like you said, those other cultures saying you're not going to misrepresent me when you go out here into the world, and we need, no, absolutely. And we need to follow suit. Family, share this show tonight. I'm here with Brother Rizza Islam, and we are going all the way in. We're talking about Dr. Neely Fuller's 9
Yeah.
areas of people activity in the state of Black community, and we're offering solutions. I'm going to move on to the next category, entertainment.
Cool.
Entertainment. I know, right? I know. Hey,
Please
look,
down.
look,
We
look,
listen to topics.
look. I know you're going to go in on the entertainment, and you and I are both in Brother Tariq Nasheed's Buck Breaking. And
Yeah.
when he interviewed me, we talked about the entertainment world, and I talked about Terrence Crews, and I
Mhm.
did bring up Cannon and what happened with him and the Jewish community, and I talked about what they do in that entertainment world to our brothers and sisters. But let's touch on that. What do
Mhm.
what do you think about the Black community in terms of the entertainment industry, the people, the brothers and sisters who are in it, and the brothers and sisters who are influenced by it? What are your thoughts?
Very, very good questions and points. The first thing is Black people have always been the source of the financial gain, the source of the overall talent, the source of the innovation, the source of the inspiration, the source of it all. When it comes to entertainment, we have always been the entertainers once they broke us and made us into an entertainer, where they utilize our gifts and talents to make them laugh, to make them feel something, because they didn't feel much at all. They were talentless. They didn't really know how to do virtually anything, because we taught them almost everything that they know. So the entertainment aspect is not a bad thing, but it's our misusing it. It's our overusing it in certain aspects, like comedy, laughing when a damn thing ain't funny, making jokes about certain things that shouldn't even be joked about when it comes to our children, our people, our condition, as if we're out of these conditions when we're still experiencing these conditions. A lot of these things have a level or have expired, but we haven't realized that yet. We're still dancing more than what we need to be doing. We're still joking a lot more than what we need to be doing. We're still acting a whole lot, and we ain't being real enough in real life. So there's a problem when you don't know how to turn it off. When you need to stop entertaining and start educating, when you don't know how to stop entertaining and start elevating, stop entertaining, start infusing and inspiring your people to do something that will separate you from this system. As long as you remain an entertainer, you will not be a builder. As long as you remain an entertainer, you will not be a creator for your own. As long as you remain an entertainer, massa will always be massa, because you ain't doing nothing that inspires your people to separate from his system. You just keep shucking and jiving and dancing and singing, doing all this to his benefit, while you think that because he's giving you some crumbs, it's going towards your benefit, but it's actually working towards your detriment. So it is a limit that we are not recognizing while being a part of their system. Some of them, I have to acknowledge, have been breaking away from the system, have been using the money that they've been getting, the influence they've been getting, and they've been doing their best to kind of turn it toward their people, toward the community. Some, I can't say most, not even close, most, but some. And those some are being watched by those within that system to make sure they don't get too far off the plantation. You already know what I'm talking about. They have a
Absolutely.
very specific eye on them, because they're like, okay, we see you talking about Black empowerment. We're not gonna get on you yet, but let's see how far you go with that Black empowerment. Are you actually going to activate on that? Or are you just philosophizing and you just talking?
Right.
You talking, that's cool. But if you're gonna start activating on it, now we're gonna come get you, because that's gonna bring down our system. So the entertainment process that I noticed is we just have to come up out of the entertaining as much as we're doing, and we have to get more into the actual building and the activating of what it is that we have.
And you know what? I just want to plus one what you just said. The Honorable Marcus Garvey said that, what, over almost 100 years ago, is that we need to, he said we need to raise up a generation of thinkers and scientists,
That's right.
And like you said, and stop being the damn Sambo, brother Rizza Islam, the daggone Sambo and and make it the entertainer. And, we got to stop that. And like you said, and start thinking in terms of, thinking as a builder, like you said, as a creator, as a problem solver, as a critical thinker, that's what we need to be doing. I was so disgusted, brother Rizza Islam, when I haven't seen it yet, and I don't plan on watching it, because at 40, I've come to understand that you You become what you see, you become what you hear. So I guard my mind and I guard my spirit as
Right.
much as I can. And so I don't subject my mind and my spirit to certain things. So people are talking about, the Little Nas X video that
Mm,
dropped. I did see certain screenshots of pictures and all of that.
mhm.
Um, I found out that, in the family, some of the kids watched it, kids being kids,
Of course. Of
they
course.
watched it and we had a conversation, in our family about it. But what I'm seeing in the entertainment industry is really sick,
Yeah.
and it's really scary because even though in our households we may say we try to shield our children from it, right? So we say, well, no, we're going to block this content from your cell phone. We're not going to allow you to watch the TV. But
Mm,
ultimately, when your child goes out here and he or she is engaging with other children, they
possibly.
get access,
That's
right,
right.
to these things that we try to shield. So what do you have to say to that, brother Islam? I mean, I don't know at this point. It's like you try to raise your children and do the best that you can, but when they leave you and they go out here in the
Mhm.
world necessarily doesn't share your same culture and ideology.
That's a fact.
So I guess my question is, so what can we do about the entertainment that we're seeing? You saw what happened with Cardi B and Meg The Stallion. They're on the Grammys, literally bumping, stuff, like
On
on the
point.
Grammys.
That's
Yeah.
correct.
So what can we do, brother Islam, to combat this type of entertainment, if that's what they want to call it, that
Mhm.
we see on television and on social media?
Beautiful question. I'll say the first thing is this is Satan's world. We got to really get through this and
Mm,
really admit what we are dealing with so that we can understand how to handle it. In order for you to understand a thing, you must first understand its nature. Look at what it is we're dealing with and stop playing as if it's not what it is. It is what it is. This is Satan's world. And as we know, Satan deceived the whole world, whether if you agree with that or not. We see what's going on. So if that is the world that he dominates and he is the God of this one, then our people are being sucked into that. Well, let's see. Some of us have to go into hell in order to bring people into heaven. A lot of us
mm,
who work at halfway houses, a lot of us who work at transitional homes, a lot of us who work, with inmates, a lot of us who work in the prison system, jail system, a lot of us who work with in juvenile halls, etc., drug rehabs. You are going into hell to get your people up out of
mm,
that into heaven. So some of us, in some way, have to invade that world in a righteous manner. This is why sometimes you'll see Brother Rizza Islam with an artist. It don't mean I'm getting down what they getting down because they know damn well what I'm about. They know
right.
that. But when if they call upon me or they reach out because they're trying to find out real information, they want to know what's really going on. And so I'll either counsel them, mentor them, and they'll take a picture. This is what I'm telling you. I'm just telling you how scientifically, because images is how this enemy works. He utilizes our psychology. So he uses pictures and movies and film and music to invade the minds of the people. So you have to counter that the same way. So when they see a picture, for example, of Brother Rizza and let's say Chris Brown, which happened recently, what that does is it shows, okay, the righteous world. Let's just say I'm not the righteous, most righteous brother, but I'm just saying what we represent as a people. They see that and they see Brother Chris and they're like, man, the world that he's been in, that got a whole lot of demonic stuff, a lot of horrific, a lot of spells, a lot of that kind of stuff, Satan's world. But wait a minute, you see these two brothers coming together. Just that image alone makes you look in a different way at him, myself, and it's like, wow, okay, something is different here. The reason why I'm saying that is because those of us within the so-called conscious community, those of us who have the so-called knowledge, those of us who have the so-called supreme wisdom, the 120 lessons, those of us who know the principles of Ma'at, those of us who know the true meanings and how black people are all of them and through the Bible, those of us who know the truth about the Holy Quran, those of us who know the truth about all of this, we have to get in contact with and educate these brothers and sisters because they don't know for the vast majority. That's just one area of it I'm saying, because as the children see us, then it makes them say, whoa, wait a minute, who is that? And then they start Google searching you. They start YouTubing Dr. Maat. They start YouTubing this brother, YouTubing that sister, because they just saw you. in a picture with this person or that person. I'm just saying this is one way, because they're going to get touched by this world. It's going to happen. This right here is all over the place as the enemy made it. Your child is not going to be shielded from this world. You can try to lock them up if you want to. It ain't going to happen. They are going to come in contact with this world. So you have to invade it righteously the best way you can. And if they are going to be in contact with it, I would do my best if I were a parent to learn about what is going on so that you can know how to properly educate them. You got to know the language of this generation. What are they saying today? If you don't know it, that's a disconnect. So now you're further away from your own child. What are they talking about? What are the topics? If you don't know these topics, now you're further away from them. They really don't have nothing to say to you. So you have to learn. That's how we're taught. We have to study the knowledge and science of everything so that we can master all of it. But we also have to be an example. So that's really the ways that I'll say, are the best ways to get through this. We have to educate, but we have to also be the examples and represent, and we can't judge like we normally do right up front. Because it's hard as hell to be watching some of this stuff and not just want to just go off on people. It's real hard not to just
I know.
Very difficult, but we have to teach the savage, not beat the savage, is what the lessons teach. We have to be the example. As the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad said, we have to simply be the clean glass and put it up next to a dirty glass and let the people decide for themselves. So as we are the examples and we educate and we uplift our people, the people are going to make the decision regardless. They're going to see who to follow, and then they're going to start to learn, and then God willing, they'll be able to step back into their knowledge of self and back into their righteous selves.
The fourth category is labor. Oh my gosh, I know you're going to eat this one up, because I know that the Dr. Claude Anderson, yes, he wrote in his book Powernomics that I think it was prior to 1870. He said that 99% of Black people, work for white folks. And then he said, as of, I want to say the 90s or early 2000s, he said, I think it was 90s, late 90s. He said 99% prior to 1870 worked for white people. And then I think as of like 1990s or early 2000s, he said 98% of Black people work for white people. So some people may call that 1% progress, but you're looking at over 100 years and you're saying the majority of you are still lending your labor to white folks. There's a problem. And so anyway, what are your thoughts, Brother Islam, regarding this category, labor and Black people?
We have to learn how to trust one another again so that we can work with one another, not simply when we are forced to work with each other behind jails and prison cells. That's when we're forced to work with each other, right? Or when we're in a situation where we have no choice whatsoever. We have to learn how to trust again. The Chinese, it don't matter if certain individuals within the Chinese community don't like each other, can't stand being around each other. They don't like how this one is with this woman, this one is with that man. They are Chinese first. They will hit you with that in a second. They'll do this. They'll hit them each other like this. No. We same. We got to get that back in our mind and stop thinking that because of one Negro's actions towards you, that means we all are Negroes and we're all going to do that to you. One action towards this sister means all Black men are like this. One action towards that brother means all Black women are like, no. Get back to understanding that we are at war. You got to get this. We have to get this. We have no choice, sister. We don't have a choice. We will not be able to get any further working with other people than we will ever get working with each other. We really got to get our minds wrapped around this subject here and around this understanding. If we are still roughly 95 to 98% working for white folks, then what does that mean? Who does that mean we feel we trust? How do we say we trust them more than we trust our own selves and our own people? They did a very good job of destroying our ability to love one another and trust one another, and it shows statistically. So we have to get back to working for and with one another. It is okay to work for a Black man. It's okay to work for and with a Black woman. It is okay to work for and with a Black family. It is okay to work with a Black group and organization, a Black team. It is okay. I love that. We have businesses within the Black community owned, founded, and ran by Black people that are doing far better than a whole lot of businesses owned, ran, and founded by white folk. You just don't hear about them as much because we don't promote it as much as we promote everybody else's business. I can't stand when people do this kind of stuff. Oh, Black people ain't good at math. Black people don't pay on time. Black people don't come in on time. Black
Yeah,
people,
all the racial stereotypes.
all the stereotypes. And I'm like, brother, no, I've worked all these different Black companies. I work with a lot of Black companies, a lot of Black businesses that I promote, that I do business with, and their stuff is top of the line quality. They're on time. They handle their stuff. They're on point. I'm like, what are you talking about? Stop promoting the white man's ISIS coder mentality. Stop promoting this farce, this insanity that somebody else's community is better than yours. Just because you hate yourself doesn't mean you need to lie on yourself and your people. Learn to love yourself again so that you can tell the damn truth. Because one thing that I become very sick of is all the way in this generation in 2021, you still got Black people generalizing Black people as if the nearly 50 million of us in this country are just a bunch of angry, lazy niggas. That is not the truth. It ain't the fact. We are working hard as hell to get back to our godhood. It's really happening. Like, it's really, really happening. And we have to give ourselves more credit. We have to stop being so thirsty and whorish for gossip. And we have to become thirsty and loving of our peoples. Engage more in that type of conversation. Labor is something that is best done with your family, with those whom you love, with your closest friends and colleagues. Us as a people, where we work together under the harshest conditions to build a world for somebody else.
Somebody else.
Work together to build something for ourselves. It should be very plain and simple, sister. Very simple, especially in the year 2021.
One thing you said, and I just want to double down on it, was when you said we got to stop hating ourselves and loving ourselves. Because like you said, and that's one of the issues. And in fact, the Read Book Club, we will be reading The Psychology of Self-Hate and Self-Defeat by Dr. Amos Wilson. Big ups to Baba Sababu, who's still pushing the work and carry the torch for Dr. Amos Wilson. But like you said, Brother Rizza Islam, we got to love ourselves. I mean, because labor, like you said, in order for us to want to work together, right, or work for each other, there has to be a good relationship. There has to be a positive relationship. And the only way there can be one is if I love myself, because if I love myself, then I'll love someone who looks like me. And then again, I'll want to work with someone who looks like me or work for someone who looks like me. So I just want to double down on that. Someone said truth bomb in the building. Sister Cindy Hughes said truth bomb. All right, so brother Islam, I'm gonna move on to the next category, 5, which is law. What do you see? Yeah, I know that's kind of loaded. I know that's loaded, but in the category of law, what do you see? Where do you see the state of the Black community?
We are still under the system in most ways legally, but we are also now utilizing our numerical power to push legal effectiveness more than we've done in quite some time. I'm noticing how certain rallies, marches, etc., we're now ending it with somebody going to jail, somebody being charged, someone being sued, a group, an organization being sued, etc. I'm noticing how we're using the law more now than we've done in a very long time. It's not just the yelling, the no justice, no peace, I can't breathe, blah, blah, blah. It's not just that. It's, all of that. And then we're going to sue you. All of that. We're taking you to court. As a matter of fact, we're going to surround the court building to make sure you stay in there until a decision is made. We have attorneys now. We got a lot of lawyers now. We have young brothers coming out with law firms. I have a good brother who's my lawyer, who's a young brother. He's not even 30 years old yet, and he came out with his own law firm. Good brother of mine, a Black man. You see what I'm saying? We are actually now thinking about, okay, hold on, wait. They got insurance on everything. So if I blow up that building in my anger, they got insurance to cover that. Wait a minute, we need some insurance. Okay, let's all get insurance now. Okay, wait a minute, hold on, they got lawyers. Hey, any of y'all in law school? Oh, you in law school? Okay, you know what? We need some lawyers. See, this is why I appreciate our Moorish family, our Moorish brothers in the Moorish Science Temple, and Islam to my brothers in the temple. I say that because that is an area specifically where they focus on primarily. We all have our area within the conscious community that's our strongest area where we focus on. That's their area. But this is something that we've had to look at because this system uses wicked laws that benefit them, that they wrote for them to go against us. But the problem now is that we've learned those wicked laws that they've used to benefit them to go against us to now benefit us to go against them. And they really don't like that. They're like, who taught these niggas? Pardon me, but who taught them? Who? Damn, we locked them out for a long time. We didn't let them read for a long time, and they were afraid to read for a long time because we were effective at destroying their psychological yearning for knowledge. But now they broke through that. Now they want to learn, and now they would learn legalese. Now they learn legal terms. Now they're learning how to utilize the law. Who taught them? Now they're afraid because they're like, damn, every time we open our mouths, we can't say something because now they're going to get it on video. So now they have proof. They got it on video and audio. Now they have proof and evidence. You know, I mean, I'm telling you, I'm watching it and I love it. Again, the problem is the lack of unity across the board, even in the legal arena. We have lots of attorneys. We have lots of lawyers. We have lots of paralegals in the Black community. There's a whole lot of paralegals. Some people who know a little bit of a little bit, they can read 10 pages of a contract to get you somewhere. They can do a little bit. They don't know a lot, you know, but they know enough to at least get it started. We have an army of legal people. We just haven't galvanized enough of us together who have the mentality of liberation. That's the right there. Because I've seen groups of Black lawyers, but they have the white man's mind. The groups of Black attorneys, but they have the system of white supremacy's mentality still in the back of their head. There's certain strategies that they would like to use that will not entirely benefit us, but will simply benefit the system. So we have to get back the mentality of our people for our people first. Whatever, you know, lane you're in, keep that in the back of your mind. That way the system of white supremacy will not be the beneficiary of all of our hard work. And I believe we will get through a lot more. So I've seen progress, but also still that it's that lack of unity for us that I'm still witnessing.
No. I couldn't agree with you more. And the fifth category is kind of ties into law, politics. And so do you think that Black people, and shout out to brother Gucci Ya, do you think that Black people have become more politically organized or not? What do you think about where we are in terms of politics or our political education or knowledge?
Beautiful, beautiful question. We become more, not too much politically organized. We've become more politically involved. So we've become involved. We've gotten our foot in. We've started to figure out what the moves are. What do parties mean? What does this mean? What is a bill? How do we galvanize people to get a bill pushed? How do we rally people for voting and this kind of stuff? So we've become more involved. But the organization hasn't really taken place entirely. It has elevated a little more. It has moved forward a little more. But if we truly understood politics, my major in college was political science, right?
Okay.
And this is one major thing. My first day in class, I will never forget this. He was one of the alumni for UCLA, who was my political science teacher. The dude was about 5'1", Caucasian white male. I was going to Compton College. This man, on the first day of government class, intro to politics, he said, for all of you who have started this class, everything that you think you have ever known about politics is a lie. I'm going to tell you that right now. So a little short white. He just said, politics has more to do with money than anything else. This is what
hold up, brother Islam. You got to say that again for the people in the back of the room. You got to say that again.
This short Caucasian male told a class of Black folk, politics has more to do with money than anything else. And I was so happy to hear him say that. I mean, whether he said it or not, I already knew, but a lot of our people didn't. They needed to hear it from a white man. Thank you. And I actually clapped. I said, I did. He looked at me. I was like, no, sir, thank you for telling them, because we need to hear this. So in that manner, you haven't witnessed us galvanizing financially to create candidates, to maneuver and manipulate candidates like this government does. It's who controls the financial push. That's who controls the candidate. Obama was controlled by power with money. Biden, power with money. Trump, to a degree, power with money. But overall politics is handled through money, and then you organize what it is that you want them to do. That's how you handle it. That's how everybody else does it. Special interest groups, they go and meet with a political candidate with a list of their demands. They bring up 5 million, 10 million, $15 million, and they say, well, listen, here is our list of demands here. And these are the things we need and want. If you meet all of these, sign on the bottom dotted line, and this is the money that we're going to give you. If you do that for us, Chinese did it, LGBT did it, the Mexican groups did it, everybody else did it. And we get mad because we see a law that comes out and we're like, well, what the hell? How did that law come out? How are they getting this benefit? How are they getting that benefit? Because you didn't organize, pull your money together, and make the demands. That's how it happens. It's not just us yelling no more. They know what to do. They have pimped them. If you want a politician, buy one. And I'm saying it that way because that's how they do it. You think they just going, oh, you voted for me, thanks. So did 10 million other people. You didn't tell me where to go. You didn't tell me what to do. Even if some of you said it on your media, okay, I get all that, but I have children. I got families. Not only that, I may be controlled by this government because they got a list of demands for me. They're paying for my lights and bills and food and taking care of my family too. So what you got? What do you have as a counter offer? We need to understand how the system of white supremacy works. Like we really got to.
And that's the issue, brother Islam. Yes. A lot of people don't understand how this system works. They don't get it. They think, oh, I just went out and voted. I have my voting sticker. They be so proud, brother Islam, on his Facebook with the I voted sticker, or they have a checker, or they show that they just came out of the voting polls, but they don't get it. They don't understand. I think that, and I do agree that Black people are now becoming more politically aware, but I think that many of us are still politically ignorant. And that is a problem. You have Black folks that are still, for lack of better words, banging with the Democratic Party, and I'm having disputes with folks saying, look, like, what did the Democratic Party do for Black people? Look, even, Roosevelt, like if we go back and we scrutinize what he did, he was trash, but Black people loved him, and so we just we're still very, very ignorant. And we definitely have much work to do in that arena. But I do agree with you that we are becoming more politically aware. But I agree 100% with you that we don't really understand how it works. And like you said, economics controls the politics. The financial or the capitalists, the financial corporations, they control the politicians. And so if you're not putting out any money, like you said, like the LGBTQ community or the Hispanics, you're not going to get any laws or legislation passed on your behalf. And then we sit back and say, well, where's the Black agenda? They didn't do anything for Black people. And like you said, well, did you galvanize? Did you organize? Did you pull your money together? Did you make some demands? No, you just sat back and waited for someone to present you with a damn agenda. So anyway, brother Islam, I know time is of the essence and we're running out. We have 3 more categories to discuss. Okay. Religion. Where do you think Black people are in terms of religion? Because, well, I'm gonna let you answer. Where do you think we are in terms of religion?
I said the beauty of that question is that Black people are now becoming more aware of more than just Christianity. That's what I'm noticing. They're like, oh, it's more than that? Yes, it's a whole lot more than that.
Yes.
They're learning about the spirituality versus the religious philosophy, the religious theology. They're learning the difference between what is proper religion or the proper way of getting to God versus the system of white supremacy and how it has injected itself into almost every religious philosophy and then utilized its way of manipulating it to control the minds of the people, including how it's been done in the world of Islam, including how it's been done in the world of Christianity, including how it's been done in the world of Judaism, including how it's been done in all of the conscious realms, including the understanding of Ma'at and the ancient Kemetic science and philosophies. I've seen some brothers say some real off the cuff weird stuff that benefits the system. And it's like, you talking about Ma'at, brother? Whoa, hey, I've seen it. You see, so it's like, wait a minute. We're learning more that there is more, that there is deeper understandings and levels to this thing here. So our spirituality is starting to come alive again, hence why we're getting angry and we're getting out physically. You see, we're waking up literally now. So we're doing more, which is good. We simply have to organize it. We have to learn more deeply in levels. And we also have to stop attacking one another simply because we say we represent this branch of our universal knowledge, this branch of our universal tree of knowledge. If you say you represent the Hebrew Israelite, okay, you're the Moorish Science Temple, you're the Nation of Islam, you're the 5% Nation of Gods and Earths, you're the Temple of Ma'at, okay, cool. We are all branches on the same tree of the universal knowledge because we are the original people. We got to get that through our head. Okay, period. If we have some disagreement, let's sit down and talk about it. But we have far more agreements than disagreements. And that's the real. And again, the system knows at the end of the day, the system sees us as one people. They see us as niggas. They see us as dead human beings, cattle, those whom they can benefit off of, those whom they can lead in the wrong direction easily. And they know it will be hard to lead us into the right direction. They know that. So if they see us like that, we need to understand how we need to see ourselves and love one another, regardless of how we dress, because we think it's uniformity that we're looking for. We ain't looking at uniform. We're not all going to dress the same. We're not all going to have the same way our hair is cut, the same style of how we wear a pin or this and that. No, we're not. We are a beautifully colored people in our difference of expression of that same universal truth. But unity means we are all on the same page as to where we need to go. That's the unity factor. Uniformity is how we dress and all that. We ain't gonna do the same entirely, but the unity is we all have that destination where we need to go. And brothers, sisters, all right, let's make that happen. Get there. How you get there? You're gonna fly in a plane, you're gonna ride a camel, you got a lion with you, I got a dirt bike, you got whatever. Okay, right. But we all going to that destination as one people. And I think that's where Black people as of now, because they're looking at the activists as the celebrities and no longer the celebrities as the celebrities. So they're seeking for the spiritual side. And I think we're doing a better job, but we could, of course, do a lot better than what we're doing now.
Oh my goodness. I mean, I couldn't agree with you more, Brother Islam, because we are definitely waking up. I just read an article a few months back about how the youth are, a lot of people, the youth are, I mean, they're leaving Christianity, they're disconnecting, and big time, a lot of them, they're just going into different, spiritual systems, religious systems, whatever you want to call it, but they're like, they're leaving out, they're heading out. And so, like you said, they're realizing, and it's no diss to the brothers and sisters in the building who are Christians. I'm just saying that, like you said earlier, Brother Islam, that Black people are realizing, like, this is not just the one spiritual or religious system, and they're delving into and exploring, other systems. The 8th category, sex. I mean, I know that's a heavy, I know that's a really, that's a loaded question, but in terms of that, I mean, I know you see a lot. I mean, they're pushing the LGBTQ, agenda. They're really pushing transgenderism a lot. And then they're also pushing interracial marriages a lot. I mean, you're looking at, I'm looking at television now, and you see the Black woman with the white dude, or the white woman with the Black dude. And so you see a lot of interracial relationships being promoted in movies and on commercials. But what do you say to that? I mean, I know that we don't have enough time to really unpack that category, but just something brief. What do you see, with Black people in that particular category of sex, the gender war that we're starting to see between Black men and women? It's like a lot in that particular category. But, if you had to give an answer about where you see the state of the Black community in the category of sex, what would be your answer, I guess, in a nutshell?
Because we are waking up is why Satan has activated all of his strategies at one time. Because we're waking up. Going after sex is going after life itself. And because we're taking back our life, he must destroy it by any means necessary. So he has to attack the womb, which is the physical in the womb of the Black woman and the physical womb of the mind of the Black woman and the Black male. They have to destroy that. They have to manipulate it. They have to confuse it, because if they see us waking up to the realization and the cognition and the understanding that their numbers are dwindling, because this is the core of it. As Dr. Francis Cress Welsing said, they are running away from genetic annihilation. Of it here. Now you're dealing with something that has nothing to do with just emotions or this or I like, or no, it is dealing with survival. And when an animal is dying, that is when it is at its most volatile. It will do anything to stay alive at that moment. So right now we're dealing with a group, a system that is trying to survive. So what is it going to do? I have to attack the ability to reproduce, and that goes in all ways and factors. That goes in your ability to be affectionate. That goes to your ability of who you want to be affectionate with, who you're attracted to, what you're attracted to. I have to manipulate it so that you will not be interested in reproducing yourself. I have to manipulate it so that you will only be interested in reproducing myself, because by the year 2042, according to my United States Census Bureau, the majority of this country will be black and brown people. And no longer
That's
white.
what they said. That's what they said.
Manipulated, because I can't be bred out of existence. I stole this damn area for me. I didn't steal it so that you can get it back. I didn't manipulate it so that you could take it over and bring order back to it. I took this so that I could be this, and I could be the manipulator, the master, the controller, and the one dominant and in control. I did not intend for you to take it back. Although it was inevitable, I still never intended for that. So I have to now attack the ability to reproduce. Because if you understand that you are every other way other than natural, or the way that we've all existed, if I can convince you that there are over 100 genders, like they're pushing right now throughout the UK, if I can convince you 13 genders that I'm pushing in some of your school curriculums right here in California and in other areas, if I can convince you that it is okay to be a man and say that I'm a woman, if I can convince you that it is okay to have grown men dressed up as women or dressed up as demons with horns and read to your little babies in something called drag queen reading hour.
That's what they're doing, Brother Islam. I saw the article.
Come on, if I can convince you that all of this is advantageous, if I can convince you that there's something called trans age, where I am not the age that I am the age that I feel. And I can convince you to respect that. This is how deep it is, sister. This is why when we're arguing with each other, I'm like, hold on, y'all better wake the hell up to see what this enemy is really doing. Because now he's coming after your children. And if I can come after the child, I'm coming after God. I'm targeting the womb through the vaccines and everything else, but I'm targeting the mind to manipulate you through your sexual practice. Then I'm coming after the result or the seed that you then produce, and I'm going to control their mind and manipulate their mind. Now I'm convincing children that they are whatever gender they want to be, or they are no gender at all. That way I can manipulate them totally from the ground up, as I did during slavery when I killed you so that they wouldn't understand the language later on. It all has to do with their overall survival. This is what we're dealing with now. You are dealing with a system that is on its deathbed. As Minister Farrakhan said, the system of white supremacy is on its deathbed. And if you don't get that by now, you will never get it.
You'll never get it. You never get it. So what do you say, Brother Islam, about the rise of interracial relationships? I know that you sat down with Nick Cannon, and this brother said, I want them all. You know, I had the clip. I ain't going to roll the clip. And you were trying to say, I was watching your body language. And you were like, brother, you know, and you were trying to help him out. And he was like, you know, I want them all. And then he said, well, you know, white women are the symbol of success. And what I loved about it is you didn't get offended. You used that as a teaching moment, and you sat down and you started educating our dear brother in the canon. But there is, I mean, I can't deny it. I've looked at the data, and we have seen that there is an increase in interracial relationships. I have seen the data. Black men are marrying outside of the race at a faster rate than Black women. And then you do see a movement heading out, you know, with Black women saying, well, now we're going to divest in Black men. And so they're, you know, they're encouraging, you know, Black women, you know, you got sisters saying, well, marry the Chinese man, marry the, you know, white man, because, you know, they want a zaddy and all this other crap. So what do you have to say about that? You know, the the rate of you know, interracial marriages, or the growth, or the spurt in or the influx in interracial marriages and relationships.
Yes, and I have to say, we really need to understand how psychology works when it comes to how this system deals with things. You never looked at a white woman with interest until the system allowed you to, number one, until the system manipulated you into doing that. There was no reason. You never felt like that because your woman not only was good enough, she is the epitome. She is the mother of civilization. She is the creator of all of us. So there's no reason for you to look anywhere else or elsewhere. And this is not to disrespect anyone who was Caucasian, but that's just the facts. I will not be looking at nobody else other than a black woman. That's just me, because I know who she is. I know what she is. I know who she came from and who came from her, which is all human beings. So, I mean, come on. I'm like, are you serious? But that's me. I get the knowledge. I will say when it comes to Nick Cannon, he was echoing a mentality that exists among the black bourgeoisie.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
And that he said, well, they said that's how a lot of them were thinking, Brother Reed. That's how they're thinking. I said, you're right. You're right. But the problem is you fell right into the system's manipulation because, one, you convinced a white man to have you hate black women. I don't understand how you can, I don't see how you can allow the actual group that destroyed both of you to convince you to hate each other to their benefit as if they are better. The white woman is the primary one who was helping to bug break you. The white woman was the primary one to help to keep you enslaved in certain areas. Like, well, let's get this straight here. She's the one who would sneak out and have a little taste of you in the barn the next morning, then smell like you, and the white man would come out to see which one it was, and she would have you get killed on purpose just to cover her tracks. Like, now again, that is just the history. So we need to understand what we're dealing with. We have to learn our history here. We have to learn how to love each other again. So pushing the interracial circumstance is yet another way for them to prevent the inevitable circumstance, which is the genetic annihilation. They are trying to reproduce and reinfuse their genetic gene pool with melanin so that they can survive. That's really how deep it is. So the white man with the black woman, that's why. The white woman with the black man, that's why. And that's from a deep psychological area. It's from a deep physiological, biochemical, area. And then you have a very small percent of black and white who grew up together. They were friends since they were children, etc. And they fell in love, they say. And I still can argue that psychologically, but I'll just say there are some who genuinely feel like they are in love with each other. That is a very small percentage. And I always argue that you have to go through all the steps first of self-hatred. Start with slavery. Start with, every single component. How was your relationship with your mother? How was your relationship with your father? Did you get love from a black woman or more pain from a black woman? Did you get more love from a black man or more pain from a black man, which was psychologically want you to move away from black men and black women, then move towards a white? You see, it's layers. So before you say you're so in love, I just argue, please go through every single layer thoroughly and be honest before you then say, I just genuinely love this person. All right. So again, we're not trying to chip away at your love, but we also want to make sure that the truth is heard all the way. Some do love some.
Yes. Sub. And I'm not going to deny that. Brother Geechee and I had a conversation. Shout out to that brother. We had an interview a few months ago entitled "Is Love in Hegemonic the society?" So is love or is love political? Like, is it love just love? Is it organic or is it something that's political? So I agree 100% with you, Brother Islam, that we have to, before we just say that we love, we got to explore and think a little deep. Why is it that we love what we love and who we love, right? Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And so the last category that Dr. Neely Fuller talked about was war. That was his last category. So he said racism and white supremacy impacts all areas of human activity. The last category is war. And so what do you have to say on that particular category as it relates to Black people? War.
See, it's interesting, sister, how you said you haven't seen Hidden Colors 5 because the topic of Hidden Colors 5 is the art of Black warfare.
Oh.
See that. You got to see that.
I'm going to check it out.
And we go throughout the history of our great warriors and how they were tried to hide them from history, including Hannibal Barca and different people. But war is something that we have continued to be in since we came into contact with the Caucasian over 6,000 years ago. it's something, and when I say that specific kind of war, we've had war within our own tribes and with our own people, and for territory and different, ideological differences, etc. When it comes to that, in certain times and points in history, but the type of war that we are still in now is the most intense when it comes to the 6,000 years. That type of war that we've continually been in is the one that Neely Fuller was describing, which is, you really think that because you can go to the movies and you can eat some ice cream and you can sit down and have a burger and you can put your feet in the sand on the beach with white people and black and brown, we can all just sit down together, certain individuals, and we just go hang out and party and drink together, smoke together, that you're not at war. When you're not realizing war is based off of deception. War is not always direct. It is constantly indirect. War is constantly strategic. It is mathematical. It is legal. It's being put in all the different areas of our life that we don't realize. We keep fighting every single day. Every time we walk out the door, we fighting something as Black people. Every day. Matter of fact, we're fighting inside of our own homes if we have a TV. Now we have a phone. We're fighting psychological issues. We're fighting psychological warfare because they are coming after our mind. You gotta get through your head that you are in a fight, whether you realize it or not, whether if you choose to agree or not, you are involved in a fight, and you will either lose or you will struggle to win. But you gotta at least first recognize that you are in it, because a lot of us is walking around like this, getting hit upside the head. We getting hit upside the head, we getting stabbed, we getting punched, and we in the middle of war. We don't realize it. We're like, oh, it's all good. Everything is good, man. You tripping, man. See, y'all go with that conscious talk. Y'all some whole tips. Y'all some Negro. Brother, you think just because you got $1 million that your people got the million? Did you get it, or did we all get it? You know what I'm saying? Get out of that. It's that individualistic mentality that, oh, I got out, so that since I got out, I'm all good. I'm going to do me, you do you. No. The system sees you as a part of us. It don't matter what you think. It don't matter. Even if you bent over all the way and tried to sell us out and dance for massa as much as possible, he will never treat you as an equal. Get it through your head. Get it through your head. We are at war, and the only way we will be successful is if we come together as a people, back under God, back under the laws of Ma'at, back under the Most High, back under the Supreme Being, and learn that we are one people, and we have to galvanize, and not just war psychologically, not just war spiritually, not just war mentally, but physically. We have to train, because a lot of us ain't doing too good right now. A lot of us be talking, we ain't training. A lot of people who be talking are not physically training. You ain't training no martial arts. You're not training no boxing. You don't know how to use hand-to-hand combat. You barely can run a mile. You can barely run half a block without your chest pounded. You're not eating right. You're not training. Oh, come on. So we have to really get into the understanding of what warfare is and stop being absent from it mentally, because we are definitely present physically and in all ways. So we have to get involved in our own strategies when it comes to war, so that we can become the victors and no longer the victims.
So that was, oh my gosh, brother Rizza Islam. I couldn't agree with you more. People, I think that's one of the biggest problems in the Black community. We don't think that we're at war. And you can tell the way we live our lives. We're not really guarded. We just send our children outside. And we need to understand that, when we leave our homes, even within the homes, that we are at war. But I think that people, because we don't see tanks driving down the street and someone's not constantly shooting at you, we don't think that we're in a war zone. But you're in a war zone, like you said. You cut on your TV, your mind, where you're going when you leave out of your door, jumping in your car, riding down your street, and just navigating in this system. You're constantly at war, and a lot of us don't realize it. Therefore, we don't act as if we're in constant warfare. Dr. Frances Cress Welsing added a last category, and that was health. She added health to Dr. Neely Fuller's list. And I know you and I talked about it earlier today. We talked about health. We talked about the vaccines. And I'm definitely, after we get off this podcast, I'm going to reach out to Brother Ankh, and I'm going to set up this round table so we can rock and roll and have this discussion, part 2, on vaccines. But where do you see Black people in terms of health? Because according to the data, they say that we have the highest number of diabetes, high blood pressure, high cholesterol. They say that we don't, get proper health care. So what do you think we are, or the state of Black America, in terms of health?
Very good question, sister. And where I see us now, as the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan has said, we have become comfortable and still too trusting of our open enemy without realizing it. So you just eat anything that he give you. You just drink anything that he give you. You just take anything that he gives you. You don't grow your own food. You don't even know what food really is. You don't take vitamins and minerals, or you drink a bunch of alcohol. Not judging, but let's just be real. This is health. You drink a bunch of alcohol. You smoke a bunch of weed. You know what you smoking is just always is from the creator, him, it, themselves, or whatever. You think you just think it's all good, not realizing that as long as you are behind enemy lines, if you don't really master the science of health and this physical temple that you have, you will constantly become a science experiment under the system of white supremacy. Our health physically has dwindled because we have been comfortable with their food or the lack thereof. We've been comfortable with their so-called water or the lack thereof. We become comfortable with the air and the chemicals and allowing them to dump it into our inner cities. We become comfortable without exercising at all. We don't want to take no vitamins, no minerals. We barely want to do anything that deals in health because we have become convinced that the unhealthy lifestyle is cool, it's lit, it's fashionable. We are following the wrong people who they themselves actually, when they become rich, start eating better. And they don't tell you that. These so-called celebrities, they leave the hood, they get their millions, they eating a bunch of vegan diets or plant-based diets or pescatarian. Some of them still eat fish. They taking their vitamins, they're exercising, they're fasting, they're doing all this stuff. They ain't telling you about it though, because they still promoting the nonsense like they still hood. Man, man, a Snicker and a Coke. You know what I'm saying? That's what I do. Hold on, bro. You know you ain't doing that. Your skin looks better now, brother.
Right.
What's going on? Your skin looks better. Your skin's getting better. We're looking at you. Look at what are you eating? Now you don't want to tell the people. See, hold on. We have to stop playing with our health as if, again, this system really cares about us, and we have to get back to learning what the proper diets are. I'll say the most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, in his 2-part book, How to Eat to Live, book 1 and 2, outlines the foods to eat, the foods not to eat. Did he outline every food on the planet? No, but he outlined at that time, and what he was stating in our condition, some of the best things to eat, some of the best ways to eat them, best ways to prep them, fasting as much as possible, eating up to 1 full meal per day, which will give us longevity, whole foods, fruits and vegetables, different things of that nature. Of course, the navy bean, which has over 80 nutrients. This is why you can't really tell the age of a Muslim in the Nation of Islam, because of our dietary law that we follow. People be like, damn, y'all look like y'all 30 and 40 and 50. We be like, nah, I'm 65, brother. I'm 89 tomorrow. You're like, how are you looking like that? So we have to take our health serious, because again, as you were just saying, sister, when it comes to war, just because we don't see it directly in our face, just because we don't see them injecting the chemicals into our water right in front of us when we're about to buy it, doesn't mean they're not doing it. You see, we have to get back to the understanding of how to grow food, domestic farmland, these lots, pull our money together, buy these little lots, these little, 100 feet by, 30 feet, etc., and start to learn how to grow vegetables and fruits. We really have to get back to taking care of our health and stop putting our mouths in the enemy's kitchen and stop relying on them to feed us, because they are going to kill us ultimately. That is their agenda. They have no other option but to kill us in order for them to survive.
Oh my gosh, Brother Islam. Oh my gosh. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And I know that we're over, because when I set up this meeting, I said 1 hour. I told Dr. Hanan, I said, Doc, I just want 1 hour, maybe I think I told her 50 minutes, maybe 50 minutes to an hour, something like that. No. And you gave us 90 minutes, and we literally touched on every category. So let me drop a bomb for you, brother Rizza Islam.
That's spectacular. I like that.
Oh my goodness. Thank you so much for coming on the platform and just being with us tonight. I see you. Let me see. I saw the I love you in the chat. Somebody told me,
Oh, wow.
brother, address the fact. Brother, address the fact. He was very excited about this interview. And he was one of the first people here. He's a Dr. Maat, I love you. So, brother, address the fact. I love you too. Thank you so much for joining in. Peace to all of my moderators. I see Sister Juju in the building, brother Sean P. Brother Unc West Abjuware is in the building. I had to take your wrenches tonight because you all wanted to be going back and forth in the chat. But thank you so much. I'll give you the wrench back later on. But thank you so much for being with us tonight. Brother Kofi Paisa, I saw that you were in the building tonight. Brother Mitchell Guest, I always tell folks you are one of my number one supporters. Thank you so much, brother, for being in the building. Pseudo Killers was on deck. Brother Corey, Brother Kent, Pseudo Killers was on deck. Thank you so much for being in the building. Sister Tamika, Sister Tiffany. I mean, so many of you joined us tonight. And so thank you so much for being in the building. Tomorrow night, family, join me back here. Same time, same place. I'll be talking with Brother Geechia about Sister Tamika Mallory. She came under fire, Brother Rizza Islam,
Yes.
about a week or two ago. Sister Samaria Rice, the mother of Tamir Rice, she had an interview and she went all the way in on Tamika Mallory. I mean, not Tamika Mallory. Tamika Mallory. She went all the way in on her. Basically she called her everything but a child of God. And so then folks are now criticizing Sister Tamika Mallory. They're calling her names because they saw her in the Cadillac commercial. And I know that she has like a podcast deal. She has a book deal. And so Samaria Rice, she called out not only Tamika Mallory, but she talked about Benjamin Crump. She talked about Black Lives Matter. And so she just said a lot of things. And so tomorrow we're going to talk about the things that Sister Samaria Rice said. And then we're going to pose the question or answer the question, can you be an activist and bid with capitalists? So can you do that? Can you be an activist and stay true to the cause and still be in bed with capitalists? And if you're connected to Dr. Maat, you probably already know what I'm going to say tomorrow. So join me back here. And I think I said same time, same place, but tomorrow I will be going live at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time tomorrow, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Brother Rizza Islam, do you have any closing words, brother, for the listening audience?
I'll just say, sister, again, I'm thoroughly honored to be on the platform, on the show, to speak with you again. I do remember when we met at the church in DC, Reverend Willie Wilson's church. I do remember that. And I was honored to meet, the two young gods. You have the two young kings. And I'm just thankful. I'm just very honored to be able to serve, to do anything to help our people, to build our people. On behalf of Minister Farrakhan, on behalf of this generation, just doing my part, because there's a lot of work to be done. There's not enough of us doing it, but more of us are getting involved. And that's all I'm thankful for. So again, I'm honored to be on. Anytime you want me on the show, just let my assistant know. And anything that you need from me, just let me know, because it's really that time. We have to kill the division, increase the unity. The enemy is on full turbo mode right now. Period. We got to get that through our head. They're on turbo. They're like, all right, we're going after these niggas with everything we got. Period. Yes. And if they don't get it, good. We don't want them to notice. We're going to take all their legs out and take their heads off. That's where the system's mentality is. So we have to understand that and do our best to come together as quickly as possible, as organized as possible, with love, no egos, none of the nonsense. Keep your own individuality while utilizing the unity so that we can go towards freedom, justice, and equality and liberation for our people. That's all I have to say, sister.
Yes, and thank you again, Brother Islam. Thank you so much for coming on the platform. Shout out to your assistant. Every time I reached out to her via email or text message, she got right back to me. So I want to say, just a huge thank you to Dr. I keep saying sister, but she's a doctor, Dr. Hanan. And I want to thank that doctor. I want to thank her for everything that she did, because she coordinated this talk. Because I know you're very busy. I'm very busy. So I'm like, hey, can we do it this day? She's like, let me check, because I know you were supposed to come on a few weeks back and then you couldn't make it. You had another engagement going on. So she said, well, sis, I'm going to try to get him here, on April the 3rd. And I said, okay. And so we worked together to get you here. So I just want to take this time out to thank your assistant, assistant, Dr. Hanan. I want to thank you, Brother Rizza Islam, for coming on the platform. Like I said, I know you're busy. You're always traveling and lecturing and going different places, and you're really pulled. And so I just want to thank you for taking time out of your schedule to be with us tonight. And so I will be in touch with you soon. And I do have a little something for you. So stay back, Brother Rizza Islam. I want to talk to you for 1 minute when this broadcast ends. All right, family, I'll see you tomorrow, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Peace, love, and light.
Let's combat and fight back with maltracks. The war of the minds, they want control of the masses. And Common Core, they dumb us down in the classes. Without knowledge, we can't gain access. Build with the elders, take notes and write classics. We keep whining on the block, how it's gonna stop? Let's start supporting our own, make their supply drop. We buy stocks, then we buy blocks. Cause we know the truth and we tuned in to Dr. Maat.